You hear that, Sam? Sam?
There's no red overall.
Good afternoon, honorable members. I would like us to start the meeting. It's already after 1. I'm just waiting for my co-chair so that we can start. But a very good afternoon to you all. Thank you. Good afternoon once more, colleagues. The co-chair is here already. You are welcome once more to this meeting this afternoon. This is a meeting that we're continuing from yesterday's meeting because we ended up without adopting. And I thought that we're going to allow the content advisors, the officials who wrote, who drafted the report, to be able to respond to the issues that, to add and also to comment on the issues that honorable members raised. So the agenda is the same as yesterday, as it was adopted yesterday. There is no additional item. So I would like us to start by allowing the content advisors to comment on issues that honorable members raised yesterday before we go to the adoption of the agenda. I must actually appreciate the debates that we had, should I say robust debates that we had yesterday, honorable members, and I want also to appreciate the fact that as much as we have debates, we still are able to debate and respect each other and allow each other to raise their points. And I would still want to request that going forward, we have no choice for the next 5 years. We're here together. We have not even finished, how much, 6 months? We have to get along. We don't have to be friends, but we have to work together so that we achieve the objectives of why we are here and why we're elected to come here as members of parliament. And obviously also as members of this portfolio committee. Without any further ado, I'll allow the drafters, Dr. Chilizi and Noguzola. You'll guide me as to who is starting and who is doing it. Noguzola will start. Okay. Thank you, Noguzola.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, members. I hope, and colleagues, good afternoon. I hope the members have received the draft that was circulated this morning, I believe. We have highlighted, based on what the members have proposed yesterday and discussed, we have added additional recommendations as proposed. Some of them, what happened? Okay, sorry. Some of them we've tried to combine. As a result, members will notice that we have additional recommendations to the Minister of Finance. Okay, the blue is not that clear there. But the new or the additional recommendations as proposed are in blue. So with your guidance, Chair, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to read them. So in this instance, we have two additional...
Can I just help? You have to comment. You can't read them. They have the report. The report has not changed that much.
Okay.
And members have read the report when we met yesterday, and these are very few changes, and they were discussed yesterday, so you don't have to read it.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So we have two more additional, we've added two more additional recommendations to the Minister of Finance. The first one, is it the Minister of Finance? Yeah. So the first one being the consideration for approval, the funding applications. The members have discussed the fact that both the Agricultural Research Council and the Onderstepoort Biological Products financially constrained. For the ARC in particular, it's in respect of the foot and mouth disease vaccine facility. The ARC has sent to the committee information. The committee has requested, because they have reported previously that they have submitted a funding application for the facility to the National Treasury, and they have since forwarded information on that as part of the budget facility for infrastructure, which is a funding program under the National Treasury. So the 7.5 as an additional recommendation is for the Minister of Finance to look into that funding application. That's specifically for the foot and mouth disease vaccine facility. The second one is in respect of the OPP. Members have highlighted the fact that the OPP, and also when they visited the entity, highlighted the challenges that they have. And they have also indicated that they will need approximately over and above the once-off allocation of 492 million, of which they've used 65%, I believe.
Just hold on, Nokuzola. Honorable Smith.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. My apology for interrupting. I'm just concerned of the time constraint in terms
Yes.
of going into detail on it. I think we
Okay.
have got the report
Yes.
because we've got a half an hour left before a sitting of Parliament. Yeah. Sorry, it's 3. Sorry, my apology.
Okay, so that one is in respect of additional funding. The entity has indicated that it will need about 2 billion to procure and maintain the equipment. Additional recommendations, that's it for the Minister of Finance. For the Minister of Agriculture, I guess as an emphasis to engage with the Minister of Finance for additional funding. This is regarding Program 2, which has seen reduction in the previous and current medium term. And then for 7.8, it's also for the Minister of Agriculture to ensure that funding is set aside for the appointment of assistant agricultural practitioners. The 7.12, I'm only going to the blue ones.
Yeah, just run through them.
Yes. Okay. 7.12 is in respect to highlight consequence management reporting on a quarterly basis for the department and entities. And the additional one is for the audit of all the entities of agriculture in terms of assets and management, asset management systems. And another one is for the OPP to develop a strategy to ensure availability of vaccines and address shortages. 7.21 is in respect, is it still 2.21? A clear plan for supporting smallholder farmers, particularly with market access. The next one is for the country to look at the potential of international market opportunities, especially in the SADC region and the continent. Next one is for the ANMC and PPCB to maximize their market access, also particularly for smallholder farmers. To the minister to coordinate and align agricultural research activities amongst entities and also between the entities and provinces, and to ensure that provinces do roll out research outputs and innovations from the ARC. The next one is to the aquaculture, the minister to engage with the presidency and the Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment on the possibility of transferring aquaculture to agriculture because it is a farming activity. And the next one is the update on the existence of the farmer register. Members from the PC on Agriculture will recall that a report on the farmer register has been sent to the committee, but it's not the actual farmer register that members have requested. The next one is the revitalization of irrigation scheme and update on that. And the last one, I believe, in agriculture is the consultation with the Minister of Finance regarding the location of the land bank. And Chair, I just want to comment on the one, what's the, okay, there was a proposal for the Department of the entity to consider a legislative intervention for plants, pests in terms of biosecurity. That has a proposal from Honorable Smith. That one we haven't included because there is a plant health legislation that Parliament passed in the last term that is meant to address biosecurity issues regarding plant pests. That particular legislation is waiting for the President's signature. And then, Chair, there were questions in respect of irregular expenditure. I just want to highlight regarding the department not incurring irregular expenditure in the reporting year, which is 2023-2024. That is correct. The figures that are reported, that is the 224 million, is from prior years. And that, so the investigations that are taking place are from irregular expenditure from previous years. For the reporting period, they didn't incur irregular expenditure. There was also another question on explanation of fruitless and wasteless, oh, it's still irregular expenditure, sorry, I guess, of 59 million that has been referred for consequence management. That's also from prior years. Unfortunately, in the annual report and during their presentation, the department didn't, or at least members didn't probe the department on what that irregular expenditure or fruitless and wasteful expenditure is for. However, when the departments come to present on consequence management during quarterly reports, then the committee will probe them. They also have to explain what was that for. I think that's all from my side, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Matikizane.
I just wanted to correct what Honorable Zola is saying. We actually did, Chairperson, and the department promised to furnish us with more details because we did ask for details on those irregular expenditures.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So it means we can actually request them to write and respond in writing, if that's what it's fine with yourself, Chair, and Honorable Matikizane. Members, I think if we had probed at a meeting where we interfaced with them and they have not responded, we have a right to write again back to them and say, we did ask these questions, we had not responded enough, we still need to do so. And we give them certain days to respond to us. We can do that. I wanted to allow, Doctor, are you not making any, yeah, so I wanted to allow Doctor to come in. Okay. Honorable Lucas and Honorable Ndalane.
The issue of should prioritize the local market before internal. I think it should be international. It's just a correction that I wanted to. Okay.
Thank you very much, Doctor. You want to come in? Oh, Honorable Nana. Oh, Honorable, oh, you fine? Okay.
I'll come in
after. After, yes. Okay. Let's allow him to speak because we have less time today. We just need to quickly confirm and adopt. Dr.
Sure, thank you. Good afternoon, members, and afternoon, colleagues. So the recommendations to the Minister of Land Reform and Rural Development, they are recommendations that we have put.
Just there, Doctor. I think I may have missed what Honorable Smith said. Honorable Smith, the House starts at 3 today because it's a Wednesday. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks. Sure.
All right, thank you. So the first recommendation we added here, it relates to the recommendation around private sector contribution to land reform, and how we have, framed it is by saying that there has to be a land reform fund where private sector contributes for the cost of land acquisition. That must be promoted and incentivized. And linked to that is also the JSE contributing to the cost of land acquisition through land redistribution fund. And linked to that again, it relates to the implementation of the land donations policy, which is also inexistent currently but not being implemented. So we looked at this as a package of private sector contribution to land reform as it was recommended. Another recommendation, it's around CPAs, and members, I think many members have raised the issues around reviewal of CPAs, and we're recommending not a systemic but systematic review of all the review reports. And so the argument here is that over the years, there has been a lot of reviews that were done by the department. So we felt like recommending another review when there's a whole lot of them. It might seem like perhaps we don't know what we're doing. The proposal is to say the committee must recommend that the department look at all these reviews that were done since 2005. And look at what were the recommendations from those. For instance, the CSIR report from 2005. We've got the parliamentary review. We've got the presidential panel. They all contributed to some findings around CPAs. And so to assess whether CPAs are a viable model for communal land holding in the context of land reform and also make recommendations for alternatives. There was also a point around these strategic partners and joint ventures. We have partnerships with CPAs in that review. Also look at these relationships and how these are benefiting the communities or land reform beneficiaries. The last one under the department is an audit of all plus farms to determine the state of each, ownership and lease, land use, and kind of support that is required. And we recommending here that that work should be done in consultation with the Minister of Agriculture, because of a lot of agricultural support that will be required. Do I still have other ones? I think those are the ones that we added. Now let me comment on a whole lot of other issues that members raised, which we did not put. There's a reason why. For instance, the first one is around the question around the term or the tenure for CPA executive committees. And I think there was a proposal that it should, instead of 3, it should be 5 years. And the reason why we did not put it here, because we thought if members are proposing or recommending a review of CPA, why do we then recommend 3 years? We might end up being like we are prescribing before we diagnose. So let's have this review, and let the review tell us what the issues are, and we take it from there. And in about 2 to 3 weeks, the Portfolio Committee on Land Reform will be dealing with annual reports for CPAs, and there will be an opportunity to engage on that. The second issue is around the observation that the Ngonyama Trust Board hasn't tabled the report, which is true. It's an observation, but we did not get a clear recommendation from members. What are members recommending around the issue of the Ingonyama Trust Board? So maybe today we might get a direct recommendation. In terms of the restitution, redistribution, and also post-settlement support, there was a proposal to reopen a window for lodgement of land claims, and also issue around the claims by Amakosi and the benefits of commercial farming enterprises. One, when the Parliament passed an amendment to open a restitution or lodgement of land claims in 2014-15, that was challenged in court, and those that challenged, court awarded what they prayed for. For instance, all new claims have been interdicted. Now, the court was very clear for Parliament. It said, Parliament, go and amend the amendment, change this law. Specific directions were given around what do you mean priority, prioritization. But the court also said to the state, finalize all the pre-1998 land claims. So we thought we advised the committee not to put a recommendation on reopening of a window, because you are recommending to the minister where already the court has given you Parliament. So it's Parliament that makes law. So Parliament must pass a law. So it's the matter that the committee must deal with it. It's in the domain of Parliament. In terms of claims by Amakosi, so all claims are accounted for. In the commission, there is no system of saying they're not dealing with claims by Amakosi. So if they have sold 83,000 plus, some of those claims are by traditional authorities. We just came back from Mawewe, and where in those traditional communities, they merged those claims under a traditional council, and the claim was processed. So there is no claim, according to what I know, which complies with the Restitution Act, which is not being dealt with. So there may be an argument about claims that are not compliant in terms of restitution. That may include claims by Amakosi, perhaps who cannot prove, who do not meet the requirements. And those may be the claims that the Commission may reject. So there has to be a clear recommendation, but again, it is a matter for Parliament as well. Parliament must then pass either a policy or legislation that deals with that claim. In the last, or the 6th or 7th Parliament, there was a discussion about an exceptions policy of those claims that falls outside the 1913 cutoff date. That matter hasn't been dealt with. It didn't go anywhere, basically. So it's something that, if this committee is, particularly the Land Reform and Rural Development going forward, must deal with it. The last question around ALA, I think there was a proposal here about ALA, becoming sort of an autonomous entity. I'm just paraphrasing here, but also bringing a legislation to deal with that issue. What reason why we did not include it as ALA is because we are proposing in the report, or the recommendation is that the minister must table a land redistribution bill. So in the land redistribution bill, it will either repeal or amend Act 126. It will also deal with issues around the entities that has to implement land reform. If members will remember, there was I think it's the 2021 SONA, where the president announced the establishment of the Land Reform and Agricultural Development Agency. Unfortunately, that hasn't taken place. So the idea was that some of these entity might have to be sort of being included and legislated for in that piece of legislation. So we are proposing and advising members to say, perhaps the committees must push for the land redistribution bill, and then look for what is it that it says in terms of these, the entities or institutions that are driving land reform. There's a suggestion around one household, one garden, as it came up during the discussion. We could not put it as a recommendation because in the report, in the recommendations of this report, we propose a recommendation that says the two ministers in this whole process of separation of the department must clarify all these animal field, one household, 1 hectare, where do they belong? And in that, then there will be clarity about what needs to happen under which department, under which program. That's all, chairpersons. Unless if my colleague wants to add, are you okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Knox, anything?
Now, Chair, I will leave up to the chairpersons to guide the process from here. Thank you.
Chair, are you fine?
Thank you for asking. No, I'm all right.
All right, I saw hands earlier on. I'll start with Honorable Okamp. You had your hand up first. Honorable Trolley, Honorable Mtetwa, Honorable Mtama, Honorable Nana, Honorable what to say? Matthias. And then Honorable Ndalane, Honorable Mkhakha. Yeah, you'll follow each other like that, Honorable Okamp.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Chairperson, just a few cosmetic changes. 7.6, if we can just put it on the screen. Whilst you are searching for it, it says consider a budget allocation, and then there's a long sentence, but it doesn't say for what. So I think we must say consider a budget allocation for a GMP, or a new budget allocation for a GMP, because that's a long sentence that just says budget allocation and not what for. Then later on in that same paragraph, it is referring to the 492 million. And then it says, however, the once-off allocation, referring to the 492 million, was and remains insufficient. It was not insufficient. At that stage, it was sufficient, but it now is insufficient. And OBP told us that now their estimates is that that will cost in excess of 2 billion. So I think we must just take out the word was insufficient. And then on the last sentence on that page, I think we're missing something, Chairperson. I'm going to read it. It says, notwithstanding the 25 million that National Treasury allocated to the OBP for the procurement of a freeze dryer, and then here's my problem. The OBP requires an additional 2 billion to procure and maintain the equipment that is required to ensure sustainable vaccine production. Then, while the GMP project is in progress, that 2 billion is for the GMP project. It's not to carry on with other stuff whilst the GMP project is in progress. And as it reads there, it says the OBP requires an additional 2 billion to procure and maintain the equipment that is required to ensure sustainable vaccine production while the GMP project is in progress. That, as I said, is for the GMP project. We must just make sure of that because that can be a huge financial thing. Chairperson, I have also had that internal and international thing. Then on clause 7.18, sorry, that is that. 7.19, ensure that OBP submit progress reports to Parliament monthly on legal cases and then again progress on the GMP project. There currently is not a GMP project because there are no funding. So maybe we should just there say progress on acquiring funds for a GMP project because currently there is nothing. But that is something small. It was highlighted yesterday. 7.22, ensures that countries explore more international markets. And then it goes in the last sentence, it says, vaccines, particularly in the SADC region. I think it's very important that we must there again say, we can supply the SADC region and we must obviously explore that, but only after we have satisfied the local needs. We have touched on it previously, but I think it's very important there. Chairperson, I'm just scrolling to... That is it from my side, Chairperson.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I think they're noting, just before I allow Honorable Trollip to come in, I was also just worried about the long sentences, because then in the process they lose the meaning of what we want to say. There is somewhere in the, I will go to it later, in the recommendations to the Minister of Finance, we tell him everything about biosecurity and everything, and I don't think he's interested in that. He is interested in giving us money just to know exactly. I'll go back to that, which one is it, but I'm just saying the long sentence, the longer we make the sentences, the essence of what we want to say get lost there. And I think that we need to just summarize them, go to the point, say exactly what we want to say to the ministers. I'm worried about the whole load shopping list also that we're sending to the ministers when they have all this kind of responsibilities, and then we give them the long shopping list. It's not, and it's not only us, especially on finance, Minister. It's not only us only who are going to send these requests. So if they read ours and they find that it's long, it does not have a meaning and all that, it's easy to throw it in the dustbin and look at those that have written short sentences who want money for GMP, want money for FMD, you know, all those things. So I thought, but then there is an issue around, if you can, you know, just ask, clarify later on, Honorable Okampi went back to it. On the 2 billion and the 1.2 billion on OBP, I'm not very sure how much is it that they said they wanted. But I think, Knox, you will come in. Honorable Trollip, I'm sorry to have just come in like that.
Sorry, Chair, can I just say, sorry for interrupting. They said that they did not have an estimation, a proper estimation, but they believe that it will be at least 2 billion for the new GMP facility.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I just want to concur with you. I think concise and focused sentences in any report are the way to go. Long, rambling sentences lose people's attention. With regard to the ITB, I thought I had made a recommendation the other day, but you know, like any board or any entity, if they do not submit their reports on time, we must make a finding to that effect and just say it's unacceptable. The ITB has not met the deadline, and that they will have to rectify it. Because if we just are silent on some entities or boards not providing reports, we're going to end up with a problem. So I think the finding is simple, that they were late, they haven't submitted, and two, that they must fix it as a matter of urgency.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Trollip. Honorable Mteto.
Greetings, Chair, fellow honorable members and officials. No, I just wanted to put it clear, because clearly it is not clear. We, the kings, lodged claims in '94 under what is called Amandebele Kingdom and King's Alliance in the entire Transvaal, which takes about 7 provinces. And those claims went through. Chief Likuleni is actually amongst those who claimed the city of Pretoria, and his claims were gazetted. A judgment was issued in his name on a matter of Victor Velaphi-Likuleni versus the state in 2011, ruling in his favor. Then that file of all those kings, which takes the 7 provinces, because those are Ndebeles, Ndebele Tswana, Ndebele Sotho, Ndebele Pedi, Tsonga, and so on. That file, we have it on our side as Amakhosi, but you guys don't have it. 2, you guys are talking about CBAs on our land where we claimed. And that's the only thing you know. And we saying, here is our file. We have claim form numbers. Therefore, I'm saying, if this matter continues to say our file doesn't exist, I'm not talking about a reopening in 20.
Honorable Mthethwa, let me just help here so that we don't go further. These officials that you're talking to are your officials. They are not from the department. So you made your point when the department was here, and if you feel that the department has not responded adequately to the matter, because I heard the doctor saying, in terms of how the department has handled the issues of claims, they have not separated Amakosi from any other person. They all are in one basket. And I think he also made an example with the where the portfolio committee went to in Nkomazi, Mawewe, tribal community there, that all the authority there, that all the Amakosi, they made one claim, the Bahlangana, where they made one claim, and they were, I know that they responded, the department responded, because I come from that side. So if you feel that, because I'm thinking we are going to continue and talk to the wrong people, because these ones are supposed to be with you, they are supposed to be assisting you to raise the matter. So if you feel like the department has not responded to you adequately on the matter, I would like to request my chair, with due respect, to speak to yourself. You know, if you can come and speak to the chair at some point outside the meeting, and if the doctor would also be in, just to clarify certain issues, so that from that meeting you walk out with the understanding of how the process went. And if you're not satisfied, then through my co-chair here, you can then write something that would go to the department, and I think doctor can help us to write that would then come back as a response that would at least address your issues. Because my worry is that you will keep on raising this matter amongst ourselves and nobody is going to be able to assist you. The people who are supposed to be assisting you is the department. I only wanted to clarify that. Okay. So there wouldn't be no need for you to continue with it. If you have a particular recommendation that you want to make, we can make. But when I was listening to you, Prince Mthethwa, I think that you need this kind of an arrangement that I'm proposing with the chairperson of land and Chilidi, who's Dr. Chilidi, who's the content advisor in the portfolio committee, if you don't mind.
Okay, Chair, provided then, because I was raising it because it is carried in the report.
Yes.
And is carried wrongly. That's why it is also in the interest of this portfolio to know that this matter is not captured as I know it and as it is in the report. So when I address it, maybe just that when I say you, obviously at the back of my mind, I'm talking about the department, but it's fine, I will take this direction.
Yeah, it will come back to us. It will, yeah, Honorable Mthethwa, with due respect, without wanting to trivialize the issue that you are raising, I think it's very important. What I'm trying to say is that it will not help us here for you to want to clarify how is it carried in the report, because they carried it in the report on the basis of what the department has said. So it will help that you meet with the chair and the doctor here and discuss. Once you have finally found each other, it will then come back to us we will then be able to, so that we don't waste enough time here with the doctor coming back to say, like I said earlier on, this is what has happened, this is what Amanya Makosi has said. So I'm just trying to cut the discussion short. But it will come back to us as a committee because we have an interest in it also. To hear, it would not help if there are Makosi outside who have claimed either because they've not been responded to or because they had not qualified on the basis of 1, 2, 3 and all that. So we will want to know it later on. Okay. Ngiyabonga baba. Is it Honorable Nana who's coming in?
Yes, I suppose it's me, Chairperson. Thank you. Chairperson, really mine is short. Doc, do you want to go to 7.29.2? Whilst we are trying to get to it, you know, Chairpersons, I'm one person who believes that the manner in which you come across, more often than not, determines the response or the reaction that you'll get. So I really want us to go to, there we go. Johannesburg Stock Exchange contributes to the cost of land acquisition through Land Redistribution Fund. I do not have a fundamental problem with that point, but it really, the manner in which you come across might get some pushback or resistance from the JSE. I think if it can be a bit more polite, we might get and polite, it's for the lack of a better word, we might get a positive response from the JSE. Remember, we cannot force them for starters. And therefore, how we come across, it's very important. Probably we can use a word like encourage the JSE to contribute to the cost of land acquisition, blah, 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 blah. You know, thank you.
That, Chair, did you want to say something?
Yes, thank you, Honorable Co-Chair, and greetings to the honorable members. In fact, I also had marked that because I felt that it was a repetition if we actually had already said that the private sector, because to me, JSE is part of private sector, and that if we actually specifically name the JSE, then we run the risk of closing others out. You know, then we're giving them escape route. Then they will, for instance, the mining houses. And some of them are not listed in the JSE, they are listed in the London Stock Exchange, but they are operating here. So I feel that if we emphasize the point of private sector, then we will actually encompassing all of them. And that, well, naming them will actually be a detail when we actually operationalize the recommendation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Co-Chair, meaning that you'll expunge that and leave the private sector instead of Honorable Nana going into trying to sort it out. Okay, Honorable Mqiltama.
Thanks, Honorable Chairs. I made the proposal and I was specific about the JSE because in the South African capital arrangement, the JSE is where the wealth is at. Of course, it is true that there are other entities which are not listed, but I think that we must maintain the JSE and then say and other entities who are big contributors in the economy. But I don't think we can avoid, because it is an institution which you can go to and you talk on behalf of many companies at one meeting, instead of us having to chase the individual companies, which are hundreds of them. So I would argue that we put JSE and other.
Thank you, Honorable Mqiltama. Followed by Honorable Matthias.
Sorry, Chair, but I was not making the original intervention. I wanted to say something about the
Oh,
report.
okay, are you continuing?
Yes, can I
Okay,
just
all
take
right.
that
I'm
opportunity?
sorry about that.
It has to do with section 721 and the time frame for settlement of restitution claims of all ordered claims. The report says here it will take, we are committing ourselves to the next 5 to 10 years. I want to propose that we restrict ourselves to 5 years, which is the period which we have any control over. There will be an election, there might be a new government, we will not be here. So restitution, all order restitution claims must be resolved in the next 5 years. That is the amendment that I'd like us to put in. I'm not aware what court said about labor tenants, by when must they be resolved. But if there is no time frame set by government, by the court, then I would suggest we do the same with the labor tenants claims, that they must all be resolved in the next 5 years. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mkritama, you follow Honorable Matthias and then Honorable, and is it Ndalane? Yes.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. I want to raise on 2 points. One is 7.31 on ALA. That we propose that ALA must undergo a rigorous review, policy and legislation-wise, to look at options of securing its independence and autonomy from the internal bureaucracy of the department. And in that, the two legislation and policy document may of course be looked at: the Provision of Land and Assistance Act of the State Land, as well as the State Land Lease and Disposal Policy. We propose that that must be inserted in the report to free ALA, as I said,
From the department?
to free it from the department and from
the finance section?
the entanglement of the bureaucracy,
Okay.
so that it can be run more efficiently and effectively. Secondly, is in relation to 7.2, I think 7.21, about CPAs. We yesterday mentioned the problems that beset CPAs, and we proposed that a whole range of interventions must be looked at. And this is in the context, Honorable Chair, of the department strategy on what is referred to as integrated rural development sector strategy. That CPA rather, and a whole range of other communities and organizations in communal areas faces a myriad of challenges which it would appear that the department in its current configuration is not geared up to deliver on rural development strategy. It's not geared up in addressing more than 1,707 CPAs. One such an example is that they committed in the last financial year to train 755 CPAs, executive committee members, and they have not done so. And in addition to that, Honorable Chair, an NGO called Chinchama commissioned an investigation together with Women's Science Research Council, in which they found several challenges which, at the close examination, the department seemed to fail to address those matters. Then there's a need that, in the light of these challenges, a different approach strategy is considered. And yesterday it was proposed in a meeting that the department has entered into a partnership and signed a memorandum of understanding and signed a service level agreement with an NGO, non-profit organization called South Africa Farmers Development Association, to look specifically at rural development challenges. And we don't see that proposal raised by Honorable Mthethwa, which he raised yesterday. We don't see it featured anywhere else in the summary report. We propose that must be featured, in which we call on the department to relook into that memorandum of understanding and the partnership it signed, to expand the scope of work of SAFDA and further mandate it, as it did in the past, to look at rural development broadly and ensure that CPAs, including small-scale farmers, in all the challenges they are confronted with on a daily basis, there is a concerted, directed intervention from an organization that has shown interest and passion to mediate in the problems of our people. We cannot continue as business as usual, Honorable Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Mkhakha, did you raise your hand? Did I know to? It's Honorable Ndalane and then it's yourself.
Well, there's one point that I omitted here,
Okay.
which I think, with your permission. That we are also proposing part of the service level agreement is a commitment made by the department, specifically the former minister, Mam Toko Titiza, that there will be feasibility study committed in, that shall be commissioned in Jozini, Mahlabatini, Amakati, to look at the request to establish a mill there, which shall cater and serve the interest of the small-scale sugarcane growers in the area. And a commitment of 8 million was made, for which the department has not stepped forward to fulfill such commitment. That matter must be followed through, and finality to mandate SAFTA to conclude that task must be fast-tracked, and the department must be instructed as such. Thanks, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mahlatsi, you'll come at the, you want to make an intervention?
Yes.
Okay, Honorable Ndalane, just let allow Honorable Mahlatsi to come in.
Okay, thank you, Chair. It's just to add on what he was saying. What Honorable Matthias was saying, because if you look at the post-settlement support, it's very weak coming from the department. I don't think the department is capacitated enough. Yes, I don't think the department is capacitated to carry the post-settlement.
At the moment?
At the moment, yeah, they are failing. And you've seen it when we went to Mpumalanga and them. Now, if you look at the roadmap for the claim, when the claim is lodged, it's a research, it's gazetted, and come negotiations. And then it stops there, because after the settlement, the implementation phase, there's no one to monitor. That is why I'm saying the involvement of these institutions, such as the SAFTA as indicated, that is why I'm coming in, where they've excelled in that department, where after the negotiations, the settlement, the implementations, and support to management, you find that the people who are managing farms are not being supported. You see, so that's where the training comes.
Okay.
Yes. So, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. We just want to believe or hope that Slalo, when the departments separate, they're separating, that the department that you are oversighting will then be able to deal with the issue of capacity as raised by honorable members. We need to encourage them to do that. Probably because it was one big department. Now that they are separating, they may be able to do that. That's noted. Honorable Ndalane and then Honorable Mkhakha, and then the last one will be Honorable Lucas. And please, I have only 10 minutes so that we close this meeting.
No, thanks, Honorable Chairpersons, and good afternoon. And mine, I'm not going to be long, because we had this meeting yesterday, visually, and then honorable members were given chances to deliberate on the report. And indeed, inputs were made by honorable members.
Thank you, Honorable
We
Trolley.
even asked the researchers and or administrators led by Budok went back to correct whatever, and we're here today because the report need to be adopted and considered and adopted. So I think today also members were making inputs, and especially on the recommendations that we have suggested. It's only that there and there where it need to be corrected. As the chairperson has said, the sentence mustn't be long. We must summarize those recommendations, because immediately when we send those recommendation, it must be short. It's true that the minister, even if they go through it, they're going to be confused if we write long sentences. So my proposal is that I wanted to suggest that we adopt the report as it is, with the amendment that honorable members have made.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Ndalane. We will note, Slalo, we will note the proposal. Let's hear if Honorable Mkhaga.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. It's interesting. Could
Very.
see that I could feel temperature of yesterday. That really there was a serious engagement yesterday. Unfortunately, I too. Chair, I just want to talk to firstly to Ingonyama recommendation. I'm highlighting because I think Doc was asking for your assistance, exactly a very precise response. Now, I just want to talk to a principle that says, for any entity that does not fulfill procedural requirements or processes, we must take a decision that says we will withhold support towards that particular entity, whether it's financial support or other supports, until a report is tabled to a portfolio committee. Just a basic principle, because I think the question of Ngonyama relates to that it has not yet presented its report to the portfolio committee, and therefore take a decision that says we must then withhold any form of support, or instruct the department to withhold any form of support until such time that that entity avail itself and present the report. I'm just highlighting just a principle as far as that is concerned, but specifically towards the Ngonyama side. Of course, summon that particular entity as a portfolio committee and deal with the challenges. Engagements, Chair, the second one. I was interested in the question of JSE, mining houses, etc. And I thought it's important at times to understand this institution, the intricacies that are involved in their operations before you bind them. And I don't have a problem with us including in our report, so that they could feel that there's this matter that is being debated by the portfolio committee. But I thought it's important that we invite these institutions. We find time and invite this institution. JSA must come to the portfolio committee. Mining houses must come to the portfolio committee, so that they've got the clarity of exactly why do we take this decision. I was going to propose that, Chair, so that the process of engagement with them, so also understanding their operations as far as that is concerned, notwithstanding the recommendation that has been made for now. The third one, Chair, I'm sure there's an imbalance between land reform and rural development. And perhaps it's a matter that as a portfolio committee we must just engage. Because as we reform land, rural development must kick in, so that we maintain that balance. So that we don't focus to land reform at a later stage. Hey, there's no development in this in all what we've been doing. So I'm just highlighting this question of balance. As we're involved with this question of land reform, we also lift up this question of land rural, because it's critical. There are provinces here that are 80% rural. And surely you would need a decisive intervention as far as those provinces are concerned. So I'm saying, Chair, that balance for me becomes important as far as that is concerned. Hence I always raise this question of land ownership and control, because I think that it falls within that particular domain, the question of land ownership and control to deal with this particular. I think, Chair, I'm closing by seconding the proposal, Chair, to close the meeting.
Okay, thank you much. To adopt the report with the amendments. Okay, Honorable Lucas, you were the last. Is there anything that you want to say? They already have supported the.
Chairperson, it's very difficult after the report they've been proposed and adopted.
Yeah.
But I just want to emphasize the fact that we will need to sit down and do cosmetic changes, and particularly look into the issue of the sentences and the structuring of the report. That was your proposal, and I hope you will be able to assist the administration to make sure that we will be able to have a report that will directly and precisely speak to what we want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honorable members. My appreciation from both myself and the chair. I'll allow him to talk to you. I just wanted to thank you for allowing us to have this discussion, and eventually, Honorable Smith. Yes, I'll give you an opportunity. I just wanted to thank you for this. There is a matter that I want us to discuss. I mean, not to discuss, just to announce to the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture immediately after the chair would have spoken. Honorable Smith.
Thank you, Chair. I am just a little bit concerned because there has now been some proposals the one way and some proposals the other way on various items. And if we adopt it like that without seeing how it is prescribed there, I am concerned that it leaves it open because, we would like to see the final product to approve on. And I understand it makes it now difficult, but it is, we cannot approve without seeing it on paper. Thank you.
No, honourable members, I think that Honourable Smith, you are supporting what Honourable Lucas was saying. I agree with yourselves. What we are going to do will allow the drafters to go and make those changes, and then once they have made those changes, we don't need to come back and sit down because we have already adopted with the amendments. All they're going to do is to send us back, circulate it back. If you have comments, members, you will please make those comments. Fortunately, we have. No, don't do that. Raise your hand. Yes, don't do that. So that we'll circulate it so that members can see it. I know that the drafters already have captured exactly what you want, and I think in essence those things that have been raised are the ones that was raised by Honorable Nana, Honorable Itama, Honorable Matthias, and supported by Honorable Mahlatsi. Those are the issues that are going to be sorted out. And then the issue that was raised by Honorable Mteto, I want to emphasize that we would want it to come back. I know that you have raised it more than 1 or 2 times, and that means that it's a matter that you really want to be addressed, and we don't want to close room for you to be able to raise it. We may not be able to understand, all of us, what you mean, but I think given the fact that I have the co-chair here, who's chairing that portfolio committee. If you were to able to meet with them and the doctor and then clarify all what you want to do, we'll then get the clarity from the department so that we can close this matter, so that we don't raise it again and we will hear what the department would have said. I think that's what I wanted to say. If you're fine with that, Honorable Mthethwa.
I'm fine.
Okay, thank you very much. Co-Chair, can I allow you and also talk to the issues? Probably you can help me because I could see that honorable members were having a problem with me saying they can comment, but I think you can help me in closing this meeting.
Well, thank you, Co-Chair. Honorable members, I don't think there is anything much one can say. Safe to say that thank you very much, honorable members, for your contributions and in actually enriching this document. And thank you also for the adoption of the document with amendments, of course. And also your commitment, Chair, that the document will also be circulated with the amendments after actually the amendments have actually factored into the document. So thank you so much, Co-Chair and honorable members.
Thank you very much, honorable members from the Agriculture Portfolio Committee. They've moved. Honorable Ndalane moved for the adoption of the report, and Honorable Mkhaga supported. Yes.
Sorry, Chair. Excuse me. Sorry, honorable members. There actually has been an issue that was raised sharply on the issue of the ITB.
Oh, yes.
I think there is also a specific proposal that was made. I think we will have to actually look into that.
Oh, yes, I nearly forgot it.
Yeah, we will have to look into that and find a way forward.
He seems to want to talk, Doc, Chair. Honorable Matigze, just take a seat a little bit, Doc. Do you want to say something?
Thanks. Apologies for this. I just wanted to, because the view that was emerging was like the Ingonyama Trust Board just didn't table the report, whereas they followed the procedure. They wrote to the Speaker and say, we are unable to table. In fact, the ITB report is available and the financial statements have been audited. It's the trust itself, and they cannot table without the trust. And the trust, it's not under the PFMA. So that's the challenge. So it's not like they don't want to. So that's why we sort of struggled. How do we put it? But I know for a fact that they're promising to table, and so the Portfolio Committee on Land must deal. I think what we will do is to note that they have not tabled, and not put a recommendation that says that they are refusing to table. Thank you.
Yes, I think the Auditor General also reported on that last week in our meeting, that they have already done it, they have submitted, but they were not able to present at the time. They were not ready, the audit, because they submitted, I think, a bit late. So, yeah, we understand, Doc. Thank you very much. And thank you, Co-Chair, for raising that. It's just an announcement, honorable members. It's not a discussion, honorable members of Agriculture. We have received a petition from the Eastern Cape that is referred to the PC on agriculture and the PC on police, to investigate attacks and killings on farming communities, and they want us to consider that petition. So I wanted to say that we will send it to yourselves through your emails, and I wanted to propose that we will look at it on Tuesday when we sit and look at the oversight report. Is that fine with yourself, honorable members? Thank you very much. Okay, the meeting is adjourned.